Hello, dear chess lovers. Today will be a light episode. It will show the funny side of chess. I will show you some positions where one side resigned in a position that was either won for them or a drawn position. Chess sometimes has this funny psychological dimension, right? You can resign in a position that is objectively winning for you, and we'll discuss potential psychological causes of such premature and wrong resignations in chess. And of course, we'll have some fun and we'll have some laughs today, okay? It will be a light episode. In this position, folks, rook fb8 was their last move, and white, in an online game, has resigned in this position because they thought, right, the queen has to lose in touch with the rook on a5. The queen has to move, and once the queen moves, they will lose the rook on a5. So white interpret this move as a very strong removing the defender tactic, right? The queen has to give way, and white will lose a full rook on the next move. What was he missing, folks? You tell me. Yes, he was missing it after rook takes e8. This rook cannot take the queen on b6 because of the back rank problem, right? So only one ply calculation would do the job for white to make sure that this threat is actually in fact not a real threat. You can stop the threat by also taking your rook away from the attack of the enemy rook. So you save your rook this way, and it will only be an exchange of rooks. You saved your piece. The resignation was totally premature for white because white in this position even has an extra pawn. Okay? So in the actual game, rook fb8, white did not even go one step deeper in their calculations. They trusted the opponent too much. They got demoralized. They missed this tactic and they resigned. So that's the first cause of resignations. People's calculation skills are lacking. Sometimes they can't even see one move ahead. They can't even see this position on the board and properly judge the resulting position. That's one cause of early resignation, folks. I will show you gradually more difficult examples today. One more position, folks. In this position, it's equal material right now. White played the move knight takes f6 check, and black resigned in the actual online game. And now you tell me whether this was justified or what did black miss before pressing the resign button. First of all, black thought that after the knight will be recaptured, they're losing the bishop on g4, correct? So black thought the main function of this move is to remove the guard with check, and white is going to win a piece in the resulting position. I won't put it on the board. I want you to visualize right now, right? That's a great visualization exercise. The question is white really winning a piece after knight takes f6 check? Does it really work for white? And here comes the suspicious mindset that I want you to breed. Don't trust the opponents too much. Try to go one ply deeper and recheck your evaluations. And once you do it, folks, I'm sure you saw it, right? Takes, your bishop is also hitting that loose knight on d4, so white cannot win the piece because takes will be answered by takes, and black is completely fine in this position. Okay, we are not going to resign. At least we want the piece back. Going back, knight takes f6 and black resigned. What he missed was the resulting position, and see that the bishop got active, and also, right, he was missing the fact that this knight will be hanging on d4. That knight is a loose piece, has 0 attackers and 0 defenders, and that's always relevant, right? Loose pieces drop off in chess, and that's the first signal for black maybe to slow down before resigning and reevaluate the resulting position, right? So that's, let's say, one ply deeper calculation than the previous one, and it's still instructive. Resignation happens here because people's calculation skills are lacking. They cannot see 1 or 2 plies deeper. And here comes a very funny position, folks. Black in this position looked at the king on b1. They looked at their beautiful pieces, queen, rook, and knight. The king is lonely on the queen side. White pieces are sleeping on the king side, and they went for a beautiful looking combination. Queen takes a2 check, bam! And white got demoralized by the bombshell just dropped on the board, and they just resigned in the actual game. Was it justified? Was it justified, folks? Now, please stop the video and tell me whether you can do better than resigning in this position. Folks, white obviously saw that this is a great move because black is removing the defender, right? That knight was the main guard of the first rank. So going back, white needs this knight to stop a mate in one, correct? Rook d1 will be mate otherwise. So white thought that's a beautiful tactic because black is removing the guard of the d1 square, but also, right, after knight takes a2, this knight is blocking the king's escape. So white thought, what an amazing combination. What a beautiful move. And he just applauded the opponent and resigned. What he missed was this. After rook d1 check, folks, this beautiful knight can return back to c1 and cover the back rank mate. Oh boy. Oh boy. Knights are tricky pieces. Knight retreats are also tricky to spot in our calculations generally. So white has missed this defensive resource. Trusted the opponent too much. That's also one way why you're losing in chess or why you're resigning too early. Sometimes you're trusting, especially your stronger opponents, too much. And in this position, white fell for that. Double blindness. Incredible. Black doesn't see that defense, goes for it. White resigns prematurely. And resigning in a winning position is the biggest chess sin, brother, right? You don't want to end up in that position, folks. But still, quite a funny position. Still very nice in terms of how blunders happen in chess. Also kind of a nice visualization exercise for you to be able to see this return of that knight. Of course, you see the back rank mate issue, but your knight can do a miraculous job in stopping the mate on the next move. Dvoretsky, in his book Tragicomedy in Chess, gives some funny examples where premature resignations took place. In this position, folks, white player has resigned in the actual game. Can do better than that. White to play and save the draw. Black is going this way. Black is about to promote their pawns. And there's only one drawing move for white. And what is that? Please stop the video and tell me the answer, folks. You're a great player if you found the move King f2. A very simple position. And there is no way for black to win this because rook pawns are useless. If they wait, we keep on waiting, right? King f1. And well, if you push h2, I keep on waiting and it's just a stalemate, right? A draw. Otherwise, if there's no h2, you have to repeat the moves, right? Just like that. If you play f2, I take. Still, rook pawn cannot win, right? A draw. Black has no way to win this position. So white, while he was resigning here in this position, thought capture was compulsory. In his brain, he had to take on f3, and this will allow, of course, a winning move, king g1, followed by queen in two moves, right? That's also interesting psychologically. White didn't give himself more choices. White thought this pawn has to be captured. In fact, you don't need to capture that pawn, right? A psychological barrier. I created a course about this. Pawn grab, the value of pawns. People sometimes lose their minds when there's a pawn grabbing opportunity and they can't go beyond those moves. In this case, king f2, a very nice position. This pawn was a hindrance for white to see this resource, and he couldn't manage to draw this position. He just resigned prematurely. A beautiful position, folks. That's kind of a chess classic. Black in the actual game resigned in this position because black thought white is putting so much pressure on that pinned bishop on d4, right? That bishop is pinned on the rook on d7, and that bishop will be captured on the next move, netting white an extra piece. So having seen the threats they were facing, black resigned in the actual game. Now, what if I told you this is a winning position for black? Stop the video, please, folks, and find that invisible move that black missed in the actual game. Forcing moves, folks. You're a great player. If you saw the point h2, it's hit once and defended only once. So before you resign, you must have seen this resource of bishop g1, creating a mate in one threat, but also hitting the queen on d3 at the same time. It's black who is winning as a result of this beautiful and invisible move, because white has no moves left. How can white defend h2 while also covering the queen, but also potentially the lose rook on d1, right? That's an incredibly beautiful move, totally outside of our radar. Doesn't look like a normal move at all, right? But in this very position, it works because of the discover attack. Black is using discover attack as a great tool to also create the second threat at the same time with the moving piece. The front piece moves, the front piece finds a beautiful target while also giving the second threat. That's how discover attacks work in chess, sometimes in a very surprising way like that. So that's also a great tactical puzzle for you to find this move. Bishop g1, well, if they take with the rook, right, I take your queen and black is winning. Otherwise, how can you guard h2? Maybe queen h3 comes to mind, or maybe queen g3 comes to mind, right? But I mean, at the very least, right, I can take, and then I can take your rook on d1 with a completely winning position. So the queen has no way to both guard h2, but also guard the rook on d3. The queen is overworked, and black is simply winning this position. That's an invisible move, very difficult to spot, but what is the lesson? Before you press on the resign button or before you shake your hands of the opponent, give yourself more choices, okay? Look at your forcing moves one last time before you resign. In this case, that's not completely ridiculous because black already has some pressure on that pawn, let's say, and also some tension going on the d file, right? There's some potential for some tactics. So please search the board again, look at those targets, and only then resign if nothing works for you. And this will be your homework position, folks. b2 happened in the actual game, and the white player resigned because black will make a queen on the next move, and it seems like white has no way to stop that. So, can you do better than white? Instead of resigning, can you find a nice resource that either keeps white in the game or maybe even gives white a winning position? And please write to me on YouTube. Is this a winning position for white or only a draw? Can you look a little bit deeper? Can you engage in some calculations to change the picture? Before you press that resign button, do your best. Give your best to this position and find that beautiful resource that can change stuff. This was a funny episode, folks. I hope you liked it. Please give me a like and subscribe if you liked it. That's very important for me to be able to produce similar content. We talked about psychological sides of chess, right? Do not trust the opponent too much. Always scan the entire board one final time. Look at your forcing moves before you resign. And of course, try to go a little bit deeper in your calculations. It's always good to work on your calculation skills so that you don't miss the next ply, so to speak. Sometimes, as you show today, as I show you today, people resign because they can't even see one ply deeper. Sometimes just two ply deeper. So we also have to breed that tactical awareness and basic calculation skills to defeat this mindset of premature resignations. That really hurts when you resign and go back home and only find out that you were winning, right? That's probably the most painful way to lose a chess position. But things are never so easy. Some moves are invisible for us to see, and that also requires some sort of, BS mindset. You should not trust your opponent too much. Always judge the position with your own eyes, and don't rely on surface features. Okay? White to play. We are searching for a saving move or even maybe a winning move for white. I'm waiting for your answers on YouTube. Catch you next time, folks. Thank you so much.